How's it guys, Munash here, and today we have the strangest and perhaps most confusing fight I've ever done in Alliance War. Like, I didn't know what was going on for most of the fight. I mean, the first couple of seconds were okay, but then after that it was just a complete mess. And it wasn't even a difficult fight. I mean, it was just the first fight on part 1, Arc Overload and Vigorous Assault. And they play Sorcerer, who's not the hardest defender, 125,000 health. Yet I was still very close to timing out and even could have died maybe twice during this fight. So usually I wouldn't use Sorcerer for this fight, but it is still off season and there are certain fights that I need these 3 champs for. So I said, let me just use Sorcerer for this. It shouldn't be too bad, even though she does have high energy resistance. I just need to make sure I can nullify those Arc Overload buffs with the aura. So I just avoided her for that initial overload, and then I parry and, drop a combo, drop my special 1, get the aura, and perhaps I dropped it a bit too early because it's gonna expire before the next overload. But I was just a bit impatient to drop another combo before getting that regen on block. Now this is where the fight gets messed up. So she throws a special 1 and she's supposed to get the nullification aura, but she doesn't. Instead she gets another unblockable and the altitude icon disappears, and then when the special attack ends some of the icons go away, but then she gets a regen buff. So now I'm thinking, is she unblockable now? Didn't she just get an Arc Overload? Am I remembering right? Like, I'm just so confused at this point. I'm not even sure what to do in terms of which special attacks to use. Is it safe to parry stun her? Or which special do I want to bait? Because the special 1 is a bit annoying to counter. Special 2 is a bit easier, but it does get her close to 3 bars, so you have to be careful. And even my icons are getting messed up. Like right now it's showing that I have multiple nullification auras, which is supposed to be impossible since it doesn't stack. I'm not even sure if those armor breaks and slows are accurate. I didn't really focus on that. And then I took a combo because that regen was actually real. Arc Overload did trigger at that time. So my block failed, and I only realized this after the fight, but the writing is what I actually should have been looking at, like when it actually says altitude or overload or true accuracy or all that stuff. That should have been my cue to sort of know when the stuff actually happens instead of looking at the icons, because those are completely unreliable at this point. But still, it shouldn't be this tedious to follow what's going on in a fight. It doesn't actually tell me when the stuff expires. Sometimes you can follow the icons, but when they are inaccurate, then I don't know, what do you do? Count how many seconds it's been? Oh, and check this out. Here I was trying to bait a special 2, but she's taking a sweet time to throw it. Until eventually, I just mistimed my decks a little bit. I might have actually parried at that point. And yeah, she was unblockable, so I take another combo and so close to 3 balls of power, and then she finally throws it. And that was not the only time that happened. Watch how long she takes to throw this next special 2. Like literally split seconds before she was about to go red, then she throws it. Again, I could have died there probably. Like, I mean, that special 3 can hit pretty hard if you have a good amount of runes, and I'm sure she had plenty. I don't really know exactly how many, but it could have ended me very easily. I mean, this is my special 3 and it did about 16,000 damage with her being in armor mode. So now I'm starting to get concerned about the fight time because I've been fighting her for 3 minutes and she still has about 50% health. My plan to nullify her overload buffs with the aura has completely failed, so I think I'm gonna throw one more special 1 and then just stick to special 3s. Because at least I know those can do some decent damage, especially when we are not in the armor phase, and even better when we're in the fury phase. And as you can see, I am not done getting comboed because she caught me after I had a shallow dex. I just wasn't looking out for the follow-up, so she caught me there. But that should be pretty much it in terms of me getting hit. And now we have a special 3 ready, and we are not in Ragador's Resolve, the armor phase, so this should do a respectable amount of damage. And yeah, that took her down to just 6% health, so looks like I can still clutch this fight. Just need to be patient and wait for the next special 3. Not gonna chance it with special 1s and 2s because her healing abilities are just so thick in this fight. And did I say we done getting comboed? Jeez, this fight's actually a lot worse than I realized. It's just these visual glitches with all the icons that made it a lot more difficult or confusing than it had to be. I haven't seen a lot of people talk about these visual bugs, but they can really mess you up in some important fights. Maybe it's because they're not that prevalent, you see them very rarely, although I've experienced this a handful of times now. Probably at least 2 more times in Alliance War, like it happens with strike counter nodes. Actually, I've seen it a couple of times in Abyss, like in those fights where there's lots of icons, like Venom the Duck. So has this ever happened to you? How many times or how often does it occur? That's gonna be it for this one. Hope you guys found this interesting, and as always, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.